Wow. Okay. So we'll stick with you, Jessica. And this is about mentorship, right? And both hearing your story as well as what Naomi has been posting on LinkedIn specifically about how you kind of got into what you're doing. Um, Talk a little bit about how that helped you. Obviously, it has helped you, but in terms of the courage that it gave you to go out and ask the questions and to kind of keep pushing. And number two, how has now this going back to what Nicholas talks about paying it forward? I mean, listening to your journey, what would you want to tell others who have self-selected themselves out because either they don't have the qualification or they don't know who to ask, or hey, I can't afford a degree. So talk about like all those myths that may have been something you dealt with, and now you've obviously gone to the other side. You have many more mountains to climb. But what advice do you have specifically around people looking up to you? And number two, how has mentorship shaped your life?
So it was really serendipitous to find that internship with Naomi, because Naomi is wonderful in the way that she runs internships, that she gives you the freedom to explore what you really enjoy. And she says, I'd love to keep you, but you should do what is right for you, whether that's software development or cybersecurity, or if it's not in tech at all. And so having the freedom to really explore and learn and just to be in on those meetings was so wonderful, just to be a part of the world. And I would say, I guess my path here has been so unconventional from what I've been reading online about breaking into cybersecurity. But from my point of view, that's what we should have as our goal, right? If everyone interacts with technology in their life, it's hard not to. You have to have it for school, for socializing, for most things, for your bank account. And so we all have those basic skills. And then just if you can write well, if you can communicate and are a good colleague, that gets you halfway there. The tech things you can learn. So what I would say is, if you're interested, don't give up just because you don't come from a tech background or you don't have a degree in some sort of technical field. I studied opera. So if I can do it, you can too.
Great. Okay. So Nicholas, again, I know this is right up your alley. And again, I mean, I'm looking at you as a mentorship pro, somebody who kind of gives unabashedly. But how did that come about? At what point in your life did you realize that, hey, even as you're learning, even as you're charging forward, you have to give back, and that seems to be kind of the cornerstone of what you do. How did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like as I was learning and stuff like that, it was really hard for me to initially get like this, like the knowledge or like, I guess like learning about where to start, because that's like a big thing that people talk about. They're like, oh, I want to, get into cybersecurity, but where do I even start, right? And I noticed like through networking and looking on LinkedIn and like, just looking up articles and Googling things, I mean, like there was practically nothing out there that was about like, hey, you're, brand new, you don't know anything, like you want to get into cybersecurity, like here's a like there's nothing out there for that. So I wanted to, like, I created an article that basically showed exactly what I did in order to gain the skills and knowledge to be able to get into the position that I'm at. I mean, I don't feel like degrees or like or anything like that, they don't teach you exactly what you need to know. Like professors, they want to sell their degree. They don't want to tell you exactly what you need to know. They just want to, push their degree and stuff like that. So, I mean, coming from someone who has a master's degree in security, like I really felt like outside learning online and stuff like that and certifications are just so much more valuable. And it just gives you so much more knowledge, I feel like. But yeah, that's basically why I wrote the article and stuff like that, just to help people and, create that kind of environment and community for us. So, yeah.
So one more question for you, Nicholas, before we move on to Joshua is, and you didn't stop there, right? I mean, clearly the Medium article was a cornerstone. If I look at your profile, I mean, that's like a compelling article. But today's post, for instance, about you've obviously been mentoring others, right? And what kind of feeling did you have when he or she told you, "Hey, I've landed a pen testing job thanks to you"?
I mean, it's fantastic to hear that, because it's, you know, it's really nice to put yourself out there and really be like taking time to write these kinds of things and help people, and then to hear that it actually is helping them is just really awesome to hear. But yeah, I don't know. I was very happy because they told me last night that, you know, what I had told them in my article and everything had really helped them, and they had landed their first penetration testing role, the very first role that they've even gotten in cybersecurity, which is crazy. So you know, I'm not going to give myself credit for that. They put in the hard work, but I just simply told them what direction to go in, and they took it, and it's amazing that it worked out.
Awesome. I mean, super awesome. And Joshua, I know you did so much early on to actually figure out whether this is something you wanted. And at 21, figure out, hey, software is where I want to go. What gave you the courage and energy to kind of dive right in, both in your high school as well as getting to the decision point of knowing what you want to do?
Yeah. When I speak about having like a non-traditional education, I really mean it. I went to school online, so I didn't get a chance to actually go to school in person throughout my whole high school career. And then on top of that, I really didn't go to college. I really echo like what Nicholas was saying. Like, I feel like a majority of the stuff that I was learning online. Actually, I have a funny story. Before I went to Europe, I was at a networking event and someone asked me, "Hey, do you know how to build a computer?" And I'm like, "No, but I'm going to learn." And then I went home, I Googled, because my brother just happened to have a computer he wasn't using, how to build a computer, and I made it work. Just like that. And so I say I Googled, but like, you know, there was a lot of resources out there, enough for me to get into it. And then fast forward to when I started like looking for interviews and how I got connected with Naomi. I had my resume and I was like, you know, I want to know, how can I make this thing better? So I started asking hiring managers what they thought. Naomi wasn't hiring, but she was one of those managers that was in the field that knew exactly what was going on. And normally, and again, I agree with what Jessica was saying, like she studied something completely separate, but I looked at it like a circle. Like there was a portion of that circle with things that like I don't fit in with cybersecurity or software development. Then there was still another portion, you know, where I fit in. Like if it was like a pie, there was still that part of the pie where I fit in. That was the only portion I focused on when I was asking my questions, when I was in the interviews or when I was looking around. I didn't focus on anything else. And I think that naturally helped me work on everything else that did not work, was not part of the circle.